Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're going to be taking a look at those Pikachu and Eevee decks. You see, we talked about these a while ago, and then they kind of went away. And we thought they'd been quietly cancelled. But now not only have they come back, they've actually been released. And the lovely Matthew Varive, Immunity over on Twitter, did get these decks. And I said to him rather cheekily, Matthew, would you be kind enough to open it and take a picture so I can see what's in? And would you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? He did, because he's awesome. So, let's have a look. And we need to start off with the Eevee deck here, because the Eevee deck actually has an exclusive card that we've never seen before. Well, that's a lie, right? We've seen it in Japan, but we've not seen it outside of Japan. You see, there is a Flareon promo that they got a little while ago that we never got, and for a while we've been wondering how that Flareon promo is going to make its way to us. Worry no longer, it's here. Now, 1 energy, 20 damage is fine, but 3 energy, 130, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon is actually really good. We've got Welder to get the energy on, so that's really not a problem here. And it's a decent non-GX attacker. Certainly doing 130 is the right number, because you've got non-GXs like Buzzwole you'll be taking down, and although you are 10 damage shy of getting something like a Celebi and Venusaur, you can play Shrine of Punishment and take it down. So make no mistake about it, this isn't some amazing Flareon, but as a non-GX attacker in fire decks, I really like it quite a lot. I think there is a lot of potential. Bearing in mind, Flareon GX is really good and seeing a lot of play in Japan at the moment. I see no reason why you wouldn't chuck 1 or 2 of these little baby Flareon, hey Nick, into your deck as a non-GX attacker. So that's one of the really exciting things. Now, we also knew we were going to be getting some HOLO cards in each of the decks, and we know what they are. So in the Pikachu deck, you are getting Cracked HOLO, that's a Shattered Glass HOLO, as some people call it, of Pikachu and Raikou. You can see them on the board right now. And in the Eevee deck, you get Cracked HOLOs of Eevee and Moltres. And I kind of like the fact here that the Raikou and the Moltres actually do very similar things. Moltres for a single fire energy does 30 damage, and then you can attach a fire energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. Raikou for 1 lightning energy does 30 damage, and you can attach a lightning energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. So they've both got a little bit of energy acceleration. Now, we were told that these decks would they'd be a little bit simpler, fewer trainers, more Pokemon, and that's generally what we see here. So if we have a quick look at the Pikachu deck here, there is an Electrode, but unfortunately it's the wrong Electrode. So we did have that really good Electrode which came out in Team Up, which can move your energy around, but do bear in mind these decks were supposed to come out long before Team Up, so it's really not the end of the world. But we do have the good Zeb Striker here. That's a Zeb Striker that's got the really nice ability whereby you can discard your hand once per turn and draw 3 cards. That is a legitimately good card, and when we get after the rotation and Oranguru is rotated out, this could potentially be even better than it has been. Plus, you get the 2 Raikou that I've previously mentioned. Now, you do get a Alolan Raichu to evolve into. I mean, it's fine. It's not terribly exciting. It's kind of interesting that we get the Alolan Raichu rather than regular Raichu. And it's nice that you've got free retreat if there's any stadium in play. And Psychic can be quite good if your opponent attaches a whole bunch of energy. But it's not exactly the very best Pokemon we've ever seen. And the other thing we see in this Eevee deck is a Pidgeotto. Now, this is the Pidgeotto from Team Up, so everything I just said about Team Up, I contend my point was a good one. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, they've gone and put a Team Up card in there anyway. Not many, but they have gone and whacked a Pidgeotto in. which would have been weird had these been released before Team Up. Let's look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one in your hand, one on the bottom of your deck. So, for the Zebstrika, the Raikou, the Pidgeotto, and you see a copy of Cynthia there, I really like this Pikachu deck. I expected these decks to be blunt, to be garbage. I expected them to be super low-level beginner decks with no really viable Pokemon and a few simple trainers, and I expected them to be fun but rubbish. That is not what we've got here, ladies and gentlemen. This is legitimately a fairly fun little deck. Now look, it's not amazing, and most of the other trainers are fairly underwhelming, but there's a copy of Professor Kukui in there, which is alright. I like this. I like this quite a lot. Now, if we have a look at the Eevee deck, one of the things that's very interesting here is that there is one Eeveelution, and it's Flareon. There aren't any others. Now, we do see here that we've got 2 of the Flareon, and like I say, this Flareon, maybe it's released somewhere else, I don't know, but as it stands at the moment, this Flareon is exclusive to this deck. As of this moment, when this deck is out, you can have the Flareon in this deck, or you cannot have the Flareon. They are your 2 choices, ladies and gentlemen. Those are your 2 choices. Take them or leave them. Now, what else do we have in this deck? Now, there is a copy of Cynthia, as you often see, as we literally saw with the theme decks of Unbroken Bonds earlier today. The trainer line here is exactly the same in both of the 2 decks. So there's a couple of How and a Professor Kukui and a Cynthia. It's not great, but I do like the copy of Cynthia. Now, we don't unfortunately have any of these kind of Pidgeotto, Zebstrika, etc. Generally speaking, the Pokemon line is a little bit weaker here. But we do have a line of Charizard. Now, to be fair, it's not the really good Charizard from Team Up. It is the worst Charizard from Dragon Majesty. And look, the one from Team Up is really good. It's really nice as an attacker. The one from Dragon Majesty, slightly less so. I do like the ability that lets you do an extra 30 damage for each of your opponent's EX and GX Pokemon in play. That's kind of cool. And 130 for free energy, discard 1 is not too bad. Plus, you do have quite a bit of bulk, to be honest. 160 HP is not to be sniffed at, especially for a single prize non-GX. I did initially think, well, you know, probably not getting many team-up cards in these because of when they were initially supposed to be released. But no! I've just shown you Pidgeottos in them, which entirely destroys that argument. Hey-ho. In terms of the other Pokemon we see here, I mean, look, I like Moltres, and I like the Charizard, and I love the Flareon, but then we get into just kind of random, not particularly good cards. So, we've got the Kangaskhan here, which is a colourless Pokemon, I suppose, but draw a card, 2 energy, 30 damage, 3 energy, 60 damage, 90 on a head. These aren't good attacks. Now, this card is notable because there's 3 attacks on a non-GX, but that's about it, to be honest with you. You got Lickitung. Now, to be fair, 2 energy, draw 3 cards. I mean, for theme deck Pokemon, this is about right. Theme decks like this kind of stuff, but that is about theme deck only. 3 energy, 50 damage for each head you can flip from 2 coins. It's not particularly great. And then we get Simisear here, and we got a fairly fat Simisear line. We got a 3-2 Simisear line, and we do 50 damage for 2 energy, and you attach a fire energy from your discard to one of your bench Pokemon. I'll give it that. It's got some decent energy acceleration with Simisear, although when I say decent energy acceleration, I am referring specifically to in this particular theme deck. But even with that, you got Moltres, and most of the time I think I'd rather be rocking Moltres. And these decks deliberately have more energy, fewer Pokemon. And they are supposed to be quite simple. I like the Eevee deck because it's got an exclusive Flareon and that makes me happy. I quite like the Charizard, I quite like the Moltres, but it's really all about the Flareon. The Eevee deck, however, has some potential. The Raikou scene playing success in Japan, the Zebstrika's good, and the Pidgeotto's very nice. So actually, there is a little bit to like here. It's not phenomenal, but it's kind of cool. Incidentally, there is a little bit of a playmat. On the back of the playmat, there is a poster. The poster looks like this. It's kind of a nice image, although it's very heavy CGI, so it depends what you're into. But as with all of these, I've never been a huge fan of posters which are folded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 times. No, sorry, 23 times. So it's not for me, but maybe it is for you. And look, maybe these decks aren't for you. Maybe they're not aimed at you. Maybe they're not supposed to be for you. Maybe you're not a newer player and these are just for newer players. But I'll tell you what, they've got better cards than I expected, and there's an exclusive card in one of them. These are a whole heap better than I thought they would be. And for that, big up to the Pokemon Company International. You did it, boys. Proud of you. So I would very much like at this point to know what you think about these decks. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. But please do remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Be nice, would you? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about games that don't have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross and you've been watching PTCG Radio.